everybody, and here's Parkinson's Walks coming at you on this lovely Friday morning. Did that work for you? No, it didn't work for me either. Here we are on a Friday in Studio 1. Studio 1, yeah, it's flipping freezing. I haven't had our clear out in here yet, our springtime clear out, so we'll have to excuse the mess. Not that it looks a lot different when we do have the clear out, but there you go. Right, so we'll get Matters Arising, then we'll have the film club. Now, I've got to slow you down this week because you've been getting a bit excited with the floral dance, so I'll have to try and gentle things down a bit if I can. Right, now let's see what we've got going then in the Matters Arising. Peter Smith, first to comment. Nice to see the old place names en route to Bodmin. Brought back so many memories, as too did the floral dance, which I can't hear without thinking of the late Terry Wogan. And my poor camera's going to suffer here, isn't it? Because it's got all sorts of light. Oh, never mind. That's the camera's problem, nothing to do with it. Terry Wogan. Now, if you're from these shores or visited these shores, you'll probably know who Terry Wogan is. Or was, I should say. If you've not had any experience, just a real old gentleman with a lovely Irish lilt. Good old Terry. Now, Michael from Poland. He says, greetings from Poland. Magda and I, that's obviously Michael's good lady, Magda and I have just been dancing around the sitting room listening to the floral dance. What are you like? Magda wonders if all members of the Parkinson's Walks family are as crazy as me. I said no, but it helps if they are. What a lovely post. Thank you, Michael. Cheer me up. Pete Payne says, good morning, hope all is well. Says, that takes me back. I have a picture on my wall of when Mum and Dad took me to the floor dance around 1965. Well, I would have been 4. I can hear it now. Sharon Idol. Sharon's popped in. The good old floor dance. It reminds me of the late Sir Terry Wogan and mornings before school with good old Uncle Tell sounding his dulcet tones on Radio 2. Shiver me timbers, me hearties, in a deep voiced Irish accent. Those were the days. David from Spain. Talking about fates, because brass bands and fates sort of go together, don't they, really? And this is interesting. If ever you're in any fundraising event and you're looking for ideas, this one's brilliant. This is from David's dad. He said, my dad made a table with a loop of track in O gauge. Below each track panel, the tabletop was painted alternately red then blue, and each was given a station name. Tickets were sold for each station, and an engine wound up and released, and the prize was awarded to the station where it stopped. It always attracted a lot of attention. I bet it did. What a brilliant idea. Magic. Sumac MacArthur, who of course is our official virtual mascot. Our Sumac. Morning, Sumac. Said, it was a nice day here yesterday at 15 degrees C, and I helped James rake up the garden. He likes it when I hide my ball in the leaves he's raking and then bark, although for some reason he acts annoyed. West Country Wanderings, our Paul. So he's just catching up with your latest vlog. The rain has finally stopped and I'm planning to go out filming again tomorrow. Wow. Yeah, we've been stuck indoors watching the rain for a long time, which must hurt Paul because he works very hard, you know, very strong work ethic. Yeah, well done, Paul. Paul Boyle. Harking back to the B-36 coming over Kingham School, you might remember Paul told us about that in the last film, where this B-36, which had the largest wingspan of any aircraft at the time, had 6 propeller aircraft and 4 jets to help, 6 propeller engines and 4 jets to help get it off the ground. Can you imagine the size of that thing? Yeah. And Paul says, the United States Air Force catchphrase for this monster was 6 turning and 4 burning. He says they got away with words, they certainly do. Simon then, our hairy golfer friend, Simon. Dearie me. My grandfather was very interested in steam engines, but leaned a bit more towards traction engines. Nothing wrong with that. Although he did take us once to see the Mallard when I was 6, as he knew the driver. The Mallard, he knew. You name dropper, Simon. You really are. Wow. You also love brass bands, good. Grumpy old man Jim. Don't tell James Weeks. It was 70 degrees here in Tennessee today, because of course James went down to Tennessee with his party of schoolboys on a 15-hour bus trip with 46 boys pushing the envelopes. And they froze to death when they got down there, wasn't any warmer. Well, don't tell James, it's 75 degrees here in Tennessee today. What a lovely temperature. And it's so cold, and now we're referring of course to the film where we went out to a track bed by Bryce Norton. And Alistair Cole says he was expecting the military police officers to come up. I was surprised they didn't actually. I can't be watching that perimeter very well. Well, perhaps they were. Looked at me and thought, oh, he's no trouble. Hopefully. Yeah. He says, your intrepid exploits to locate piles of historic rubble fascinate. Historic piles of fascinating rubble. Oh dear. The film. Last week's film, which was the failed attempt to find the tunnel at Drybrook. And Sumac says, I'll help you find that tunnel next time we go out. My map reading skills aren't great, but I have a pretty good nose. I bet you do. James Weeks says, I'm not putting that down as a fail. Thank you, James. It was a really nice adventure. Maybe we have to change the goal. As in, our goal today is to have a great time walking in the Forsythene. That would work. Sort of smacks of cheating slightly, James, but you know. Grumpy old man, our Jim then says, you did the right thing in going no farther, even so it's a beautiful woods walk. Yeah, well there you are, that's what James is trying to get us to do. Whereas West Country Wanderings then, our Paul, of course he smoked it out, didn't he really? He says, you're going to keep us in suspense, aren't you? A good old cliffhanger. We don't give up easy, do we? We don't give up easy. Paul was saying that when he first started his channel, going back a little while now, he didn't expect to use the Forsythene very much. But since he's been going down there, suddenly he can see the potential. It's a beautiful place to be. Peter Smith, he says, just a stray matter of yards from the road, and it's a different world. Yeah, you'd never figure it, would you, if you were going past it? Brilliant. Simon the hairy golfer. One day we'll get a sensible comment out of Simon, but I wouldn't hold your breath. He said, I was waiting for a giant boulder to chase our Indiana Ron away from finding the secret tunnel and treasure. You've been watching too many Easter films, Simon. Oh dear. And privileged this week, Andrew Merriman. You all remember Andrew, who's popped in just for a look around. He says, happy Easter from the Parkinsons Walks retirement home. Well done. To you and the members who were kind to me when I was a regular contributor. Yeah, well, you deserved it, Andrew, you really did. He said, I thought you might be interested to know that the tunnel was unofficially named after the house at 5 minutes and 47 seconds, which is built on top of the tunnel. Yeah, looking at that alignment, it would be, wouldn't it? Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, nice to have you pop in now and again, Andrew. Keep us abreast of what's going on. Thank you very much. Rodney Masters. Rodney says, good afternoon, Ron. The unpredictability of the outcome is one of the joys of Parkinson's walks. You're very, very kind, Rodney. Thank you very much indeed. That's another way to describe the disaster, isn't it? David from Spain. He said you got some tantalising shots near the tunnel portals. I don't hold out much hope for the restoration of that car. I shouldn't think so. And he says, Easter is in full swing down here. This is in Spain, of course. Last night in Granada they had what is known as the silent procession. It starts in the old town and all the street lights are put out as a candlelit procession makes its way down the narrow streets. Oh, but that's worth a look. Brilliant. Pete Payne wonders what that car was. He says, I did notice it had a Lucas headlamp rim. Ah, well, I thought most cars did in those days. That's the only problem. Railway Christina. I always want to call you Christiana. No chance my name changes there. No, alright. Christina it is. So she says, I've been given a button, apparently from the coat of a station master at Cinderford New Station when it was owned by the Severn and Wye. Because Cinderford will be the next but one stop down the line that we're looking at. Ah, so you got a button off his coat. So the poor old station master had to have the draft in then, so you could have a button. Yeah, well, what a find. Malcolm Morgan. He says he was born and bred in Drybrook, lived there for some 25 years. He says his parents lived only 100 yards from the Drybrook halt. Wow. So there were two tunnels. Steady on, Malcolm, I'm having trouble finding one. He said there were two tunnels. One was adjacent to the halt and the other ran under the hotel. Yeah, that's what Michael's saying, isn't it? Brilliant. Not Michael, that was Andrew, wasn't it? Yeah, Michael's next. Greetings from Poland. Lovely to be back in the Forstadine. He said, you were right to be careful. Sending out search parties to look for missing Rons is not my idea of fun. Missing Rons. Charles Patterson. He said that terrain was a bit tough. You were definitely edging into a younger man's realm with that one. Is that a nice way of saying I'm getting old, Charles? Diplomatic way of saying I'm getting old. You were definitely edging into a younger man's realm with that one. Oh dear. Try to get sensible. Jim Nichols, thanks for trying anyway, and do continue to use discretion in where you go. We'd hate to hear of your being found in skeletal form after being trapped in a deep cutting maelstrom anywhere. Yeah, my wife might have something to say about that as well. Simon Williams says, go back and find it, I need to see it now. Simon, you'll have to be patient, but guess what? Guess what next week's film's all about? You'll have noticed at this stage that there's an input from Trevor. I'm blaming Easter because I'm early and Trev's late. But keep looking at the comments because when it comes it'll be worth reading. Right, now film club, I got to slow you guys down, haven't I? I mean, dancing around the living room and listening to the floor dance. No good going to recover that, is it? So okay, so I'm going to slow you down this week then and we'll go back to the rainy one. We like that one, occasionally. So we're going to see that one. And then next week's film club is the search for the tunnel. Second attempt. I'll see you down there. Don't be late. Thank you.